Hello everyone, hello. Welcome to the Snickers show. Thank you. Nice seat, by the way. Thank you. Well, today we will have a very interesting show because I have something special to share with you. As you all know, I love chocolate, and there's one specific ad that caught my attention this week, and it's Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry advert featuring Mr. Bean. So before we start our show, let's all together look at this ad.
一个就是乱整了。
别打你的二破拳了，来条 Snickers。兄弟，怎么样？
来劲了。
You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers, get some nuts.
I hope you enjoyed this ad as much as I did. The surprise of today is that we have 4 guests that featured in Snickers You're Not You When You're Hungry campaigns, and it's Mr. Bean, Liza Minnelli, Joanne Collins, and Betty White. They will give us a little bit of insight into what was the target audience of this campaign, creative proposition, media channels, and theories and models that could be used to analyze this campaign. Before we will meet our guests, let's all together look at the performance of the chocolate industry. As you can see from Hershey Global Convention's 2010 report, the leader in chocolate industry market is Kraft Foods. The interesting fact about Kraft Foods is that in 2010 they bought UK's favorite chocolate brand Cadbury's for £12 billion. The second on the market share table is Mars. And just to make it more clear is that Snickers is owned by US chocolate giant Mars Company. In the third place is Nestle, and as a chocolate lover, I can tell you that it's more breakfast-oriented brand with the main product Kit Kat in the chocolate industry. And one specific brand that I was very surprised about is Ferrero. It's still privately owned family business in Italy, but they still have 4.5% in the market share, and that seems pretty high for the independent business. And from our second slide, you can see that there's millions of pounds invested into advertising campaigns by every brand. The leader in 2010 was Mars, with the highest expenditure on advertising. And Cadbury spent almost half as much as the Mars Company. The interesting fact is that in this table you can see that Kraft Foods have separate expenditure for advertising, and it's not included together with Cadbury's because that was the year when they bought it. I put together a perceptual map based on the 2 tables that I showed you before. The data is used from 2010, and as you can see, Mars and Kraft Foods are the leaders in the market. The interesting fact from it is that even though Mars spends almost twice more money on advertising, they still own the lower market share. From this we can draw a conclusion that market share does not always depend on expenditure of advertising. So, you were in the most recent Snickers ad that was shown in the UK. So, would you be able to let us know what was the reason behind this whole campaign? That seems like a very good idea. Well, and actually, this advert probably reached a lot of people. There was over 5 million hits only on YouTube. But would you be able to answer what was the main target audience of this campaign? Oh, okay. Was there anything specific about it?
creative proposition summary of the campaign is very simple and clear, which is what I personally believe to be the reason for the success of the campaign. It is unique and novel, relevant and meaningful, with the use of unusual appeals such as humor. What happens with guys when they're hungry? They don't act as their usual selves. So, what to do in a situation like that? Have a Snickers.
And what about the creative approach?
Well, Snickers are trying to project the gut-feeling sensation when you have their chocolate bar. After the qualitative research, it became clear that in order to be relevant in context, we need to focus on this exact sensation. Snickers fills you up quickly and you're ready to roll. The big idea is creating a universal meaning that everyone can relate to. You're not you when you're hungry. Straightforward and simple. The other important point is whether or not it fits Snickers' strategy. But when we look at the numbers, we can clearly see that the campaign has achieved sales growth in all but 2 of the 58 target markets. So, if that is not success, I don't know what is.
That sounds pretty well, but how did the company make sure that the message is appealing to all its customers?
Well, to the general public, the ad may seem quite easy to come up with, but the core of everything behind the scenes is quite complex. It can be stipulated that Snickers have used the so-called sticky advertisement style, which represents the following characteristics. It is simple, you're not you when you're hungry, very high relevance. The ads are also unexpected since they actually manage to change consumer behavior and make Snickers buying a habit. They're also concrete. Snickers will fill you up quickly. Fact. Everyone who has tried it knows it's true. They're also credible because the brand has been with us for such a long time that people recognize it everywhere. They are also emotional since they use laughter as positive reinforcement. And last but not least, all of the ads carry a story which is relevant to the chosen geographical target market. And every story shows you how hunger can catch up to you in so many different situations and what the best ways to deal with it is, what the best ways are. We have used different dimensions in the ads and, one of them is originality, meaning the alien situation when one of the guys transforms into a woman and as a consequence is not on top of his game. Using humor as reinforcement is also what makes the ads funny and easy to remember. The ads dimension is called brand to consumer relevance. Simply put, it represents cases in which consumers use the brand to cope with given circumstances. In this case, having a Snickers to manage hunger.
Well, that sounds pretty impressive. As you said, the ads were targeted geographically, but was there any main theme between the whole ads?
Well, as you can see from the screen, advertisements always begin with a popular local situation where always one typical guy stands out from the rest because he's not at his best game due to being hungry and therefore changes his behavior. The ads often use female celebrities that embody some hunger symptoms such as being cranky, irritable, bad-tempered, etc. But no matter what the problem is, the guy behavior always comes back to the normal after having the Snickers. And we have also commonalities in all of our ads. Every single ad is part of the You're not you when you're hungry campaign, begins with a typical male setting. But there is always one guy who has changed his behavior because he plays hungry. After recognizing his typical female behavior, the rest of the guys offer him to have a Snickers in order to restore his powers. Shortly after eating the chocolate bar, the hunger is gone and everyone is at their best again.
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
Did the company found it hard to communicate with its audiences?
No, because we had a very interesting communication model that you can see from this graph. Basically, Snickers have come up with this approach. First, they create this universal story, and then they deliver it in the very flexible and creative way. Afterwards, they leave the rest to be developed by the local countries, which is where the responsibility of generating local fame by using local celebrities, which as consequence increases penetration and ultimately drives sales up. I believe this to be the great strategy because the universal method can give global fame to the brands, but local recognition is what actually drives sales up, drives awareness and word of mouth.
TV is the most important media channel as it reaches a higher proportion of live buyers than any other channel. So the first Snickers TV advert from the You're Not You When You're Hungry campaign premiered in the USA in 2010 during the Super Bowl, which is every year the biggest TV moment. And it had about 106 million viewers. which according to Nielsen, 54% of the Super Bowl viewers were male, and almost half of those viewers were in the key demographic of the 18 to 49-year-olds.
That sounds very well targeted for the US audience, but what about the rest of the Europe and UK?
So, in the UK, the Snickers TV advert featuring John Collins premiered in 2012 on Channel 4, and this advert ran for a month. And previous to the premiere of the advert, the Twitter campaign was initiated with 5 celebrities posting out-of-character tweets and then revealing that they were just simply hungry by posting a picture of themselves, like here Katie Price. And this has reached a total of 26 million people at a cost of £85,000, which was paid to the celebrities for tweeting. And the aim of this was to get people talking about Snickers' new campaign in pubs and amongst friends, and also to get press coverage before the actual advert would air.
Well, as everyone knows, nowadays everything is about the internet and social media. But was there any printed media used?
Yes, so in 2012, Snickers partnered with Metro and Mail Online for an 8-week-long cross-media campaign. And this partnership resonated with the male audience and would take advantage of the cultural events throughout the year. This campaign included newspaper, mobile, digital, sampling, editorial, and gaming platform advertisements, and this was to drive engagement and attract new audiences. So this was the full-site ad takeover of metro.co.uk. Then this was an editorial in the Metro newspaper with a double-page spread about hunger trades. This was the full ad takeover of the iPad app. And yeah, so this campaign altogether ran from February to May 2012. And this partnership was quite successful as it resulted in 62% recall of at least one promotion element of the audience. 28% of the consumers agreed that they are more likely to buy Snickers after seeing this campaign. And 31% agreed that seeing this campaign made them feel more positive about the Snickers brand overall.
Well, that sounds very successful, but how did the company make sure that customers are not bored of the constant and same message?
Well, they are constantly looking for new ideas to keep customers engaged. In April 2013, they came up with a new innovative way to tell the "You're not you when you're hungry" story in a digital space. So Snickers teamed up with Google, and they bid on the 500 most misspelled words, as it was found that making spelling mistakes is common when you're hungry. So every time someone would misspell one of the identified words, Google then would receive, send them a tailored message from Snickers, this one, and this way they could reach a large number of people in the right mindset to get their message across.
Well, that sounds like a very creative idea. It probably cost a lot for this company.
Well, the budget for this campaign was £5,000, as no one else would bid on these misspelled words. So this campaign was very successful then, as it generated over 550,000 impressions in 51 hours, and this was at a very low cost of impression, and it resulted in a cost per impression, a click-through rate at 1.05%. And additionally, it delivered an extensive PR coverage and numerous discussions on social media.
Today we're going to talk about some models and theories of Snickers campaign. So the first one I wanted to show you is the pull strategy. So as Phil 2009 said, pull strategy makes customers come to your brand. So the communication flow goes from the manufacturer to the customer. And we thought that Snickers actually partially use the pull strategy, because if we think about the Twitter campaign, which celebrities tweet about Snickers, they were actually trying to make customers come to the brand. Second of all, because they were actually trying to attract a large target market. So in fact, the campaign was promoted in more than 40 markets, and also they've been made more than 20 TV ads. Lastly, also because of the high expenditure. So the tweets, to make 5 celebrities do 25 tweets, it costs more than £85,000.
That's quite a lot. To be honest, next time let me know, I will tweet for free.
So second of all, we can look at another model. which is the food cone belting grid, and it was developed by Bohm in 1980. So the most appropriate section that are referred to Snickers campaign. So as I said before, Snickers campaign was aiming to attract a broad target audience. So the section 4, which is linked to self-satisfaction, is do, feel, learn. So Snickers, as a chocolate bar, comes in the sweets section. So it's actually a low involvement product. But also, Snickers campaign is, can be referred to the habit formation. So do, learn, feel, especially for loyal customers. But personally, I think that feel, do, learn would be the most appropriate sequence. Please, Mr. Bean, let me finish! So it would be the most appropriate sequence to Snickers campaign because they are trying to promote the product with humor and with emotion appeal. And they want to develop a feel of hunger into customers so that they purchase the brand and they associate it with the chocolate bar. So they will firstly develop this feeling, they will purchase the product, and then they will learn the consequence of it.
Excuse me, Mr. Bean, are you okay?
Mr. Bean, you seem like not yourself.
Just grab a Snickers. Better?
Better, finally.
Is everything okay? Do you feel better?
Better, thank you. Well, just because I don't speak, it doesn't mean that I'm stupid. I've got a PhD from marketing, so please call me Dr. Bean.
Okay. So maybe then, Dr. Bean, you could share your knowledge with our audience.
Sure, I could talk about the elaboration likelihood model if you like. Well, as you all know, elaborating on something means to take the time to really think about something. If you have to buy a specific product, you might read information about this product, watch commercials, and listen to people. Putting information together like this and really thinking about it is elaborating. But we don't always do this much of thinking. And this is what elaboration likelihood model is about. How likely are we to think about what we read, hear, or see? There are two principal routes in the elaboration likelihood process. When people are motivated and able to think about the content of the message, elaboration is high and the central route is likely to occur. Some people make decisions based on peripheral processing, in which the persuasiveness of the message relies on peripheral cues. They don't really pay attention to what the product is all about, and they are more likely to be influenced by attractive advertising through celebrities, catchy slogan, or humor. Well, as Liza mentioned previously, Snickers is a low involvement product, so if we take into consideration the Snickers campaign, they really did a really good job because obviously they hired us as celebrities, and then we had a really catchy slogan and a humorous appeal, so that's why the campaign was so successful.
Today we looked at Snickers, You're Not Chew When You're Hungry advertising campaign. We took a humorous approach the same way that Snickers did for their campaign. We looked at the target audience as well as suggested the behavioral segmentation for this campaign. We analyzed media planning process and most importantly adapted few theories and models for the advertising campaign analysis.
So why was the campaign successful in the first place? Coherence. Main theme and tagline remained the same across all media channels as well as the main product. Targeting male target audience was able to relate to the message of the campaign. Continuity. In 2010, the campaign was launched and it has been running successfully for over 4 years. Effectiveness. The following data will show exactly how effective the campaign was. So we have 94% increase of value sales growth. We have 82% of markets running the campaign for 2 years have received greater value share for the second year. Snickers has regained global market share equal to $376.3 million, and Snickers has regained and surpassed its previous value market share to strengthen its position as the world's biggest bar.
Although the campaign was very successful, we also have some recommendations. So first of all, they should also focus and target their ad directly to females so that women can relate it to them.
Snickers could also improve their communication with their customers through social media with interactive and user-generated content in order to gain credibility as well as insight from the market, which lets them understand their customer even more.
Okay, well, Snickers don't currently own an Instagram account, so we thought that it would be quite beneficial for them to actually create their own Instagram account, and also they should have some You're Not You When You're Hungry interactive games for Instagram, for example. They could encourage their target audience to send pictures with the diva hashtags, posting funny pictures for little incentives. In terms of the product packaging, we thought that it would be also quite beneficial to relate that to their campaign. For example, instead of Snickers written here, they could use words, for example, angry, hungry, diva, words that are actually related to the campaign, because in this way they would encourage again their target audience to post a picture of the chocolate with a hashtag, for example, angry hashtag. So it would just create more buzz around the brand.
Thank you for watching.